Members, with that completed, it is therefore my duty to call on Government Orders of the Day numbers 4 and numbers 5.
Customs and Excise, Border Processing, Trade Single Window and Duties Amendment Bill, third reading. Biosecurity, Border Processing, Trade Single Window Amendment Bill, third reading.
Mr Speaker.
I recognise the Honourable Minister Maurice Williamson.
Mr Speaker, I move that the Customs and Excise, Border Processing, Trade Single Window and Duties Bill and the Biosecurity, Border Processing, Trade Single Window Bill be now read a third time. Prior to the Committee of the Whole House stage, these amendments were progressed through the Border Processing, Trade Single Window Bill and Duties, Window and Duties Bill, which was actually an omnibus bill. The bill had its first reading on the 27th of August last year. These bills amend the Customs and Excise Act 1996 and the Biosecurities Act of 1993. The two bills make important amendments to existing legislation to underpin the implementation of the trade single window component of the new joint border management system. The trade single window ensures a smoother flow of legitimate trade and is consistent with government priorities relating to the provisions of more joined-up online services. Mr Speaker, more than 250,000 transactions have been processed to date through the trade single window. Traders are continuing to register and transaction volumes are increasing rapidly. The only feedback I get from all users of it is that it's a fantastic system and they would like to get the extra functionality online as quick as they can. The bills contain three key categories of amendments in respect of the trade single window: registering users of the joint border management system, providing information to and receiving information from the trade single window, and consequential changes to offences. The Customs and Excise Border Processing Trade Single Window and Duties Bill also makes minor technical changes to the Customs and Excise Act of 1996 to provide clarity and to improve the effectiveness of the Act to meet government policy goals for border management. Mr Speaker, I want to thank the Foreign Affairs, Defence and Trade Committee, which has proposed two amendments that have actually been incorporated into the bill. The first makes consultation over any changes to the de minimis mandatory, so those who are representative of interests likely to be substantially affected by proposed changes to regulations governing the valuation method and value for an import consignment below which duties need not be collected will be consulted. The second amendment is to provide for the avoidance for doubt for the making of biosecurity levy orders that enable the levy to be paid at more than one rate and that can set the actual levy rate or rates. The amendment aligns the provisions in the Biosecurity Act 1993 on biosecurity levy orders with other provisions in that Act. Now, Mr Speaker, I cut my formal speech short tonight because I thought after the committee stages where Mr Shearer and Mr Goff had raised a whole lot of issues about secrecy and privacy and have never, ever given out. Well, I see, the problem is, Mr Goff, I didn't have my research done at that time because I remember signing out a whole lot of things. But, you know, you sit in the chair and you think, worst thing you can do around this place is make a claim and then get it wrong. So we had Mr Shearer saying, we have never heard about this secret increase. We have never heard about the secret increase. Well, I want to canvass a few facts. Mr Speaker, let's go through some parliamentary questions first of all. These are interesting. Now, the first one is from Damien O'Connor, lodged on the 19th of June last year. Now, I know that some Labor Party members don't talk to Damien O'Connor. In fact, I know most don't talk to him, but they should have. Because he would have been able to tell them that my answer to that parliamentary question 0757 says the capital budget agreed for JBMS in 2010 was $75.9 million. In March of 2013, Cabinet approved expenditure increase of $8.9 million with the existing customs and MPI cap within existing customs and MPI baselines. Cabinet also approved $4.9 million fiscally neutral transfer. So there's the first disclosure of the extra money to a parliamentary question written by Damien O'Connor. But wait, there's so much more. In fact, I'm sorry to do this to my colleagues, I've got pages I've actually even got pages of parliamentary questions from Mr Shearer himself, who asked the questions, and then said, well, I didn't ask them, sir. You asked them and didn't remember what he had even asked. For example, a parliamentary question from Mr Shearer on the 28th of January this year from David Shearer to me said, what is the current projected costs for the completion of the Joint Border Management System, and what is the current estimate completion date? And in that, sir, I explained that the budget had gone up to $89.67 million because of extra functionality and scope changes that had been put in. And just like anybody building a house who along the way decides they might want to add another garage on or double the size of the kitchen, there's a budget increase. That's right. But Mr Shearer didn't even know he'd got it. What he said in the Select Committee was embarrassing for him, sir. He must be so embarrassed. He kept saying, this is a sneaky little deal that we've only learned about this. Hang on, I'll give you his quote. This is a sneaky little deal that we've only learned about for the first time tonight. That was last week, sir, when it was in the Committee of the Whole. And yet he's got parliamentary written questions with it all laid out. Oh, but wait, there's more. There's so much more. There's things called the Foreign Affairs and Defence and Trade Committee. Now, I understand why people who aren't on it may not have known what was disclosed to that committee. I understand that. But I'm going to check with my colleague, Mr Hayes. Is Phil Goff and is David Shearer on that committee? Well, there you go. They are. So, let's go for a Select Committee report. Let's go for a Select Committee report. Here we go. Well, first of all, what went before their committee, the New Zealand... Look how embarrassed they are now. They've been caught with their pants down, Mr Speaker, caught with making out we never got told all this secret information. We never got told it. And it turns out that not only have they had it in parliamentary written questions, but it's been canvassed both at the Select Committee, a hearing on estimates. I can give you the dates for that, sir. It says the hearing on the 14th of November. I presume the members read their minutes, or if they were there, listened. What IT projects, if any, were completed or underway, etc. And the answer that was given is the JBMS Tranche 1 with an initial estimate of $75.9 million, but now a completion total cost of $89.7. There's the increase again, given to the members at that Select Committee on the 14th of November last year. And they come into the House last week, sir, and say, the sneaky minister, he's never told us about the increase. That's what he said. I've got their Hansard. Sneaky minister who never told us. That shows how much work those, the old guys up in the balcony in the Muppets, upstairs in the Muppets, the two old grumpy guys in the Muppets. That's them, sir. Grumpy old, what are they called? Phil and David. Yeah, Phil and David, the grumpy Muppets up in the balcony, grumpy as hell, making up stories. Do they? I thought they... See, I just don't know who hates each other anymore over there. It's so hard to work out. So there's even more. Select Committee report. The Select Committee report that was made available on the 6th of December says in it, now this is in the report, I give it to you on page 2, the Joint Border Management System has been developed since 2010 and has received considerable funding. $75.9 million in the original budget, with an additional $13.8 million in 2013. That's the sneaky bit about it. We put it in the Select Committee report. We put it in written questions to those members. We actually put it in the estimate stuff. We even had Customs go before the committee and explain it all. And they had the cheek, the absolute gall to come into this house during... Dumb and Dumber. That's their names. I've now found out. They had the gall. Now, sir, if I had another half hour, I would love to go through a whole lot more. Okay, let's do one more. Let's do one more, because there are so many more. Here we go, David Shearer. Okay, we'll try. Parliamentary question lodged on the 28th of January from David Shearer. This is about the decommissioning of CUSMOD. And it was CUSMOD supposed to have decommissioned? And the answer was no. The decommissioning was only ever planned to be done once the full operation of JBMS was up and running. But again they said, oh, it's all overrunning. CUSMOD's still running, isn't it? Yeah. Would you like me to have done a Nova Pay and switch it all off and then have nothing? Is that what you have liked? But again, sir, again, in in the short period of 10 minutes where I can spend my time ripping them to shreds because it's so enjoyable, they sat in this house and straight David Shearer got up with all of the anger he could muster. This is outrageous. We've got a minister who has deceived this house. He hasn't disclosed these numbers. We've never seen them until tonight. That's what he said. That's what he said, sir. And guess what? Not a skerrick of it, not a jot of it, not an iota of it was close to even the truth. It's an outrage.
Mr. Speaker.
I call the Honourable Philip Goff.
Mr. Speaker, what an extraordinary